Ciao, hi, hey guys, I'm just checking I'm live on Facebook, Meta, or whatever you want to call it. Ciao, hi, hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. I'm finally back here with part 2. It's taken me ages to get around to. I'm way behind schedule. I was a bit tired. I went to sleep for my granddad nap, as I call it, and it took me a while to get up and then to get ready. I was hungry, so I thought I'd better put some food, like fuel, in my body, but I probably overdid it with chips and corn sausages and all that kind of thing as a vegetarian. So anyway, yeah, so I know, nice life story. But then I went to the gym and I was like at least half an hour later than planned, probably even like 1.5 hours later than I would have liked to have been in an ideal world. But I suppose for a lazy guy, getting in the gym is pretty cool. But yeah, um, I did plan to do this about 8 o'clock, but I was running late to go to the gym, so it took me ages to eat and I was messing about and taking a while. But anyway, this is part 2. As I say, point 2 then. This is part 2 of my thoughts on and plans and ideas for supporting the Black Wall Street. If you know any facts on the Black Wall Street on that, know any historical facts or any facts about it now, please do feel free to share. I'd love to read your comments and that kind of thing. And yeah, if you've got any links like about the website, maybe I should, if I remember, get around to it, I might copy and paste the link for the website for Black Wall Street. I'm sure they've got a website. I know they've got a YouTube channel. I'm sure they're on Facebook as well. So check out their socials and their website and that kind of thing, and share all that kind of thing. And anyway, these are pointers number 11 to 20. I hope you enjoy them. And here goes. So number 11, I normally think of like a changing number, but I think of things like inventors, ideas people, entrepreneurs, investors, and that kind of thing. And I wonder how the Black community around the world, in America and around the world, so African Americans and people from Britain, Europe, Asia, Africa, Australasia, and all over the world, really can collaborate and network together to support each other, to learn from each other, and how they can improve relations and end divisions between each other, and yeah, put their differences aside and work together and invest together and build trusted platforms and teach each other how to avoid scams and mistakes to avoid in business and that kind of thing. Something I want to say about young entrepreneurs I want to say at the end of the video, so I hope you'll be patient enough to listen to me waffle, but I will try and get to the point. But yeah, so Black inventors, ideas people, investors, innovators, change makers, networkers, people networking together and all that kind of thing. So I talked about it in part 1 as well. And hopefully there'll be more talking about change. Hopefully there'll be more awareness on Black Wall Street and its history and its current format and that kind of thing. Black Wall Street now and that kind of thing. The remaking of such and how it can hopefully achieve its full potential, and hopefully we'll be able to see what they can create, set up, and whatnot, what they can build and grow basically together as a community. Yeah, how they can support and protect each other. I've got some views about ICE, but I might not include them just yet, but I might include them a bit later. Another thing is, before I move on to point number 12, I think there's just one more thing I wanted to say. I hope I won't forget anything. I hope I won't be forgetting anything, because then I'll be kicking myself later and all that kind of thing, so I hope I won't be doing that. But obviously not literally, but on a serious note, talking about change, I would love to raise awareness of neurodivergent conditions like dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, ADHD, autism, and any related conditions within the Black community and within the Black diaspora, whether that's in America, Africa, Asia, or wherever around the world. I was going to say something about Celtic again as well, but I'm going to move on anyway. I'm trying to stick on topic. But moving on to point number 12, I know I did say I'd love to see Italian teams and Celtic have academies and sports clubs for African Americans and investment from the African American community, hopefully to a mutual benefit and that kind of thing. But yeah, point number 12, I hope they can help each other. Talking about going to the gym and networking together and helping each other to train and keep fit, improving their diets and things like that, maybe being wealthy and healthy. A bit hypocritical of me to say, I guess. Although I do love walking and sometimes I enjoy going to the gym, but and I guess it does release endorphins. But I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a bit overweight, quite a bit podgy, especially my stomach at least, and I do have a bad diet, so it does feel a bit hypocritical for me to say, but it's something that they may well want to work towards together, work together towards, because I guess these are suggestions, and it's whether they want to run with it or not, whether they want to put it into action or not. As I say, please do what I say, not what I do. But again, but on a serious note, these are like suggestions. So again, whether they think they're right for them or not, it's up to them. But yeah, what was I going to say about point number 12? I was thinking of pointers for the pointers for this list. I was thinking of things to cover, basically, and I thought, again, I know I sort of touched on this in part one, but I was thinking if the black community in America, and again, maybe even all around the world, can network together and just generally work together and trade together in different areas. So, or just generally. So, I talked about, like, say, a restaurant or a cafe could use black suppliers, whether that's for coffee, tea, bread, or whatever it might be. And yeah, just working together in like distribution chains and networking together and teaching each other about different industries, perhaps teaching each other to invest and basically supporting each other as much as possible. Mentorship, being role models, and all sorts of different things to help each other. Moving on, number 13, I realise there are probably obviously there are a lot of challenges for African Americans and the Black diaspora as well, and I hope they'll be able to challenge those, take those challenges on together, and again work with potential allies like myself, as a hopefully POC and that kind of thing. But I know there's divisions between like black people with each other and like an Asian different groups. So I know there are a lot of challenges, and some of the stories of Black Wall Street in history are quite negative and sad, as I talked about in part one again. And sometimes I worry when I make these videos, I worry whether they're going to actually make a genuine difference. So I hope they do. But yeah, I also think for point number 13, I normally think of selfish things. So once again, I'd love to see African Americans, like, I'd love to see Italian teams benefit through investment, sponsorship, and all that kind of thing. I doubt there'll be donations, but from African Americans, but at least investment, sponsorship, and that kind of thing, and having academies and supports clubs to develop some great players amongst African Americans that hopefully will play in Italy, as well as for Celtic and that kind of thing. And hopefully it'll be a mutual benefit. That's what I'll say. But yeah, I suppose Italian football would or soccer or whatever you want to call it would benefit through increased investment, sponsorship, basically getting more money, funding, and that kind of thing. And also maybe even some great African American players in the future could play in Italian football in Italy, and that kind of thing. Having sports clubs and academies could be of great benefit. Hopefully they'll come up with great ideas together on that kind of thing. And Italian football will find great ways to market itself against soccer or whatever you want to call it, calcio as they call it in Italy itself. But at the same time, I hope Italian soccer can fundraise for African Americans. Number 14, I hope they can solve problems together. I think problem solving is a really good ability to have. Funny enough, I was talking about neurodiversity, and I think neurodivergent people, especially dyslexics, can be really good problem solvers. A lot of people say it's one of the strengths that many dyslexics have. The African American community will learn about dyslexia and other forms of neurodiversity and that kind of thing. Number 15, I hope they can help with African Americans' ambition, and again, the Black diaspora, maybe even working together to support each other. Hopefully, especially African Americans, hopefully will benefit the most from the Black Wall Street, but hopefully maybe black people around the world can benefit almost as much, and that kind of thing. So hopefully it will help with Black ambition, and they can bring projects together and again collaborate on all sorts of projects like Black ambition, Black Entrepreneurship Day, Black Dollar Day, and all sorts of things like that, which could look at promoting enterprise and general empowerment, entrepreneurship, and that kind of thing in the Black community. I often wonder, like, what if there could be easy ways to do entrepreneurship? I know people say it's got to be hard, but I wonder if by working together we can make it easy, or people can make it easier generally. Number 16, hopefully they have committees and think tanks which could look at the best ways to empower as many African Americans as possible. Number 17, another thing I hope to talk about this month is, like, as well as like Black entrepreneurs, Black millionaires and billionaires, high net worth individuals, and that kind of thing. I know they say money isn't everything, as I say. as I said before. But I wonder if there could be black trillionaires in the future. Think about imagination. But I have to think for point number 17. For the number 17, I think of like imaginations and things like that. Again, I know I talked about in the past. But in this case, I wonder how African Americans could use their imagination to be empowered, whether that's in music, movies, book writing, YouTube, TikTok, and or whatever areas, entrepreneurship, for instance, or whatever that which could empower the black community. As Damon John, an African American entrepreneur himself with dyslexia, funny enough, says, for those who watch a Shark Tank, you might know who he is. He says that it's about creating your own, a different story. He says that's what entrepreneurship is just creating a different story. But yeah, I wonder if there are easy ways to do entrepreneurship. I wonder if it's fun. To me, like smart work, the difference between smart work and hard work is like smart work works more towards a goal, an end goal, and it's more towards like having fun and enjoying it. So if you enjoy it, it's not really, I wouldn't say class that as hard work, but as smart work. But maybe you'd always have some difficult days at the office and record things you don't have to do in life. So maybe no one can find life easy all the time. I guess everyone's probably got to work hard at some point, I guess. But I'd love to, if I had a mentor, I'd love to find a mentor who could teach, who's found an easy way and a fun way to make money. Most importantly, fun. I think that's what I think, like rather than a boring way or having to do things you don't like to do. I suppose that's a better way of putting it. Like I often say like I'm lazy, but talking about myself. But I think that it's more. I should probably replace that with like I like to work smart. I like to do things I enjoy. A bit funny like that. But moving on, number 18. I hope the Black Wall Street and other organisations again hope they'll collaborate together, and maybe they could have all the different projects that empower the black community, black empowerment projects, together under the umbrella of the Black Wall Street, so we can bring all the black empowerment projects together. And hopefully they'll talk about positive stories, success stories and things like that for the African American community, and again maybe in the black diaspora, and what they've achieved in the past and what they could achieve by working together. I think I forgot to say in point number 7 about I began to talk about it, but I forgot to finish my point, as I sometimes do. A bit dopey, I know, but of how the saying is many hands make light work. So by working together, we can make things easier, or you could say many minds make light work, I suppose. If you put it literally, but I was thinking like, say, if you move a really heavy table, surely it'll be easier if you move it together with many people. Number 19, I'd love to support more African Americans in terms of things like, and again, the black diaspora maybe generally in terms of like tech and STEM generally, robotics, AI and that kind of thing, and making video games, board games, and online games, websites and things like that make games. So more African American, slash even black game makers more generally, tech game makers and that kind of thing especially. But again, making board games, video games, card games, their own versions of Monopoly and things like that. Maybe even a Black Wall Street board game, which is a bit like Monopoly, and so people can teach about business and things like that, and sort of different games and things like that. So again, it'll be interesting to see what they could create, and support poets, artists, writers, and creatives generally, musicians, and African Americans in all different sort of areas. And number 20, as I said earlier, I mentioned at the end of the video about supporting young entrepreneurs, young black entrepreneurs, black youngpreneurs, if you like. And I'm a great believer, perhaps rather naively, of like young people starting a business at the youngest possible age. Although it does feel a bit difficult because I kind of don't want to tell people to do things I'm not prepared to do myself, and I do wonder like about the hard work involved. But I wonder if by working together they can actually make. One of my dreams is like to find easy ways to run businesses or whatever, to run a business or even businesses in the plural. Again, by networking together, collaborating, supporting each other, investing in each other, buying from each other, and that kind of thing. I think it goes both ways, like customer service as well. But to me, the younger you start a business, the earlier you can make your mistakes, and as long as you like budget or bootstrap it, it can make things a lot better to learn your mistakes earlier. Like again, Damon John says, you will fail at some point. So yeah, unfortunately, you probably will have hardships and fail at some point. So I think the earlier you learn from mistakes and things like that, and hopefully again learning from each other's mistakes, teaching each other what they know, not jealously guarding secrets. Like so, sharing ideas. I know when I was younger in the past, I always used to be very secretive with my ideas, and sometimes I can be a little bit. I think maybe, like I say, not being jealous of each other's successes, but being proud to see other African Americans achieve, for instance, like I think see other black people achieve. Um, and yeah, I guess what I was trying to say about when I say I feel a bit hypocritical and a bit rich of me to say to start a business from a young age, not just because I didn't start when I was younger, but because there's like I'm telling people to do something which might involve a lot of hard work when I'm not prepared to work hard myself unless I really have to, unless I had to survive or whatever. If I was really like if I was starving and had to work hard, I guess I would. Or if I basically if I really needed to pay my bills, um, and I had to work, I guess. But if I could, I'd always love to work smart, work easy. And I guess the better way of putting it is have fun. If it's too easy, maybe it'd be boring. So perhaps I should replace that instead of easy with like fun. Then it doesn't feel hard because it feels like it's something worth doing. And I guess some people might say, well, coming through a struggle, you appreciate it more. Just like if your favourite football team is struggling, but then they win in the end or whatever. Yeah, I was going to say about Celtic hopefully capitalising on the defeat of one of our biggest rivals um, yesterday. But yeah, our game got postponed. Side note, but yeah, I'm a great believer in young entrepreneurs. Maybe again, I'm being naive, and people might say that's putting a lot of responsibility on young people. If they play it like a game and then learn from it, and they use the amount of money they can afford to lose, they can learn as much as possible about business. And again, they can mentor each other. I suppose there's books people can learn from those who like to read. They can teach each other books. Again, David John has made a book for like, young people to learn about money. And there's YouTube videos and there's all sorts of ways you can learn nowadays. I don't like to read books, but I can learn from YouTube, listening to YouTube and that kind of thing. And I think I'll finish off and wrap this up with this point. Again, sorry to waffle, I know I do waffle a lot, but which is like about four jars of money that someone was saying how rich people teach their kids differently. I think they normally say three. So you can have, for young children, it could be to give them pocket money, but then they have to spend their own money, and they put it into four different jars. And one is for spending, so like a quarter or 25% of their money goes towards spending. So, like, say if they clean their room and you give them £1 or $1 or whatever, depending on where you live. Obviously, in this case, considering I'm talking about America, I guess I talk more about in dollars. So yeah, let's say a dollar. You give them $1. Again, this could be done in any country, I guess, similar amounts or whatever. Obviously, the national currency or whatever. Say local currency, but the national currency. And then they put $1 in. So 25 cents of that would go towards spending. 25 would go towards saving. 25 would go towards investing. Although maybe you could argue that more should go towards investing than saving or even spending or whatever. And 25 would go towards tithing or giving to charity, which creates an abundance mindset. So not only is it a nice thing to do, but it also creates an abundance mindset. So yeah, a quarter of each of their money, try and live a bit more frugally, and then maybe even say, I'm not going to buy you anything. You have to spend it on with your own pocket money, but you get that money, and then you have to learn how to budget it yourself. And then I guess that's a way young kids can learn about money. But as ever, I'd love to know what you think. If you listen to me waffle this much, I really appreciate it. And I'm out. And peace and love. Please comment either on Facebook or YouTube or preferably both. And I'm out. And peace and love.